Hello everyone. In this video, I will go over my solution to the problem named road optimization taken from today's Codeforces round. This problem is an excellent problem which teaches us how we can use two-dimensional dynamic programming in order to solve an optimization problem. And this problem would have a rating between 1700 and 1900 because it uses a simple DP idea, but the transitions are a bit complex and require deep thinking. So in this problem, we are basically given a road which is L kilometers long from one city to another city. Now each point of the road has a coordinate x, and since it's L kilometers long, the coordinates will be from 0 to L, and that is the distance from the first city to the second city. Like that's the distance from the first city, and the first city is at coordinate 0 and the last city is at coordinate L, and there are n signs along the road. The ith sign is at a position di, that's mentioned below. That's the coordinate of the ith sign is at di, and they are given in increasing order, and there is a speed limit ai. So we are basically going from the first city to the second city by a vehicle, and the speed limit for the vehicle is given by ai, and we need to basically remove at most k road signs so that the we take the minimum time from the first city to the second city. So initially, let's say that k is 0. So let's consider the simple case when you don't remove any road signs. Then in that case, what will be the what will be the time taken? So in that case, the time taken is simply given by. So let's consider the first example where we have the length of the road is 10, and we have basically 4 checkpoints. The first checkpoint is over here, the second checkpoint is over here, third checkpoint is over here, and the fourth checkpoint is over here. So let's consider the simple case when k is 0. We basically can't remove any signs. So in that case, the time taken is simply given by the first length 3 into the first speed 5 plus the second length which is 1 into the speed which is 8 plus the third length which is 4 into the speed which is 3 and plus the last length which is 2 into the speed which is 6. So this is equal to 47 if you add these 4 numbers up, and you can verify that 47 is the first answer. So in general, if you want to write a general expression, then clearly the time taken will be, let's say we are at position I, where I goes from, basically let's say that this is position 1, this is the second sign, this is the third sign, fourth sign and fifth sign. Then we are basically considering all the signs from 2 up till n. So we are running the sum from I goes from 2 till n, and we are basically adding the length. So the length is given by position of I minus the previous value di minus 1 and into the speed. So the speed is given by a of I minus 1. We are doing this, and in the end we are also adding the last stretch. So the last stretch is actually like position of n plus 1. So the position of n plus 1 is basically L, the length, minus d of n into a of n. So this is the general expression, and you need to basically figure out a way in which you can think about this expression well. So spend a few minutes just looking at this expression and understanding why this expression gives us the length, gives us the time taken when k is equal to 0. Now for any general k, let's try to come up with the idea. So for any general k, when you think about this optimization problem, there are always two options. One option is some greedy algorithm, and that greedy algorithm itself could use many different things like binary search on the answer, etc. However, another idea is a DP solution, and we need to figure out which solution is better and which solution basically will work for this problem. So there are two reasons why DP should work. The first reason is the constraints are very low. Greedy will normally be like O of n or O of n squared, and that's not the expected time. We have n is less than or equal to 500 and we have 3 seconds. This means that n cubed will easily work in 3 seconds, and that is the intended solution. So based on that hint, that's the first hint, that we need to come up with n cubed dp solution, which uses an n square space and n cube time complexity. That's the first idea. The second hint that dp works and greedy does not work is that there is no obvious greedy solution. So if you think greedily, you may come up with a few ideas. However, they become very tedious, and I spent a lot of time trying to figure out how we could greedily approach the problem. But dp is just much simpler, because dp is a kind of brute force, and it also matches the constraints given in the problem. So that's why we move ahead with a dp approach. So now let's think about the dp state and the recurrence. So for the state, we need to make sure that obviously one parameter in the state will be the current position. So initially, like one parameter would be dpi, where I is the current sign on the road, and basically we are considering the first I signs. So considering the first I signs on the road, we need to minimize the minimum possible drive time from the starting city to the ith road sign. So let's say that's what the dpi represents. Now we also need to keep track of some other parameters. The second parameter which we can keep track of is the number of signs which we can remove. So that's the second parameter, and both of these are from the input. So another thing about dp problems is that especially if it's on the easier side, then the parameters will most likely be something like from the input. In this case, the parameters are n and k, where n represents the current sign and k represents the number of signs you can remove. So that's what dpij represents. So if we are at the ith sign, if we want to reach the ith sign from the starting city, and j represents the number of j is equal to the number of signs which we can remove. So j represents the number of signs which we can remove, and dpij basically represents the minimum time taken. So summarizing the dp state, we store the minimum time taken from the starting city to the ith city, to the ith sign basically, if we remove at most j signs. So how does this help? This helps us because, as I mentioned, the last sign, the last location, the final ending point L is basically, you can basically think of it as the n plus 1 sign, or you can think of it as a separate case, which I'll mention a bit later. But this state basically gives us the minimum time taken from the starting city to the ith sign, and it's possible to find the recurrence easily by utilizing the fact that you can basically iterate over all the previous signs. So the key idea for the recurrence is that you iterate over all the previous signs before I, where you initially stop. So basically, let's say that you're considering the signs 1, 2, 3 all the way up till I, and let's say that there is a previous sign pre which comes before I, then there is pre plus 1 and so on all the way up till I, and pre basically represents an index where you last stopped, and you basically will erase all the indices from pre plus 1 all the way up till I minus 1. So you will not visit all these signs because you can remove, so you are allowed to remove some number of road signs. That's why you will remove all these road signs over here from pre plus 1 to I minus 1. All these will get removed, and you will basically consider pre to be the last sign which you visited right before the ith sign, and hence you can get a recurrence quite easily, which is let's say that you consider only pre. So the time taken in this case, if you consider pre to be the previous sign which you visit before the ith sign, the time taken in that case is going to be dp of pre of the remaining number of removals, and the remaining number of removals is basically given by a number. So let's say that number is rem, dp I rem, I mean dp pre rem, plus the time taken to go from pre to I, and that's basically given by the distance between pre and I. So what is the distance between pre and I? That's given by d of I minus d of pre, and you multiply the distance by the time, I mean by the speed. The speed is basically a of pre. So this will be basically be the recurrence for the time taken, and rem is basically given by the remaining number of signs. So how many signs are left? Let's try to figure that out. So we know that the number of taken, the number of signs which you remove is pre plus 1 minus I minus 1 and plus 1, because you remove all the numbers in this range, and the number of remaining signs is given by j minus this quantity. So this is where the recurrence gets a bit complicated. That's why you need to patiently work this out. And this remaining number of signs which you can take out is given by if you reduce this expression, you'll basically get j minus pre minus I and minus 1. So actually I've made a mistake. The quantity rem is given by the number of remaining signs, because we know that we delete all the signs in this range, and that's why we use up some number of remaining signs which you can delete, and that's why dp pre of rem will give us the minimum time taken from 1 to go to pre with remaining number of removals, plus the time taken to go from pre to I, which is given by this quantity, will give us the time taken to go from 1 to I. So basically we are going from 1 to pre and then from pre to I, and that quantity from 1 to pre is given by dp pre rem, and we are trying to figure out what is the remaining quantity. So the remaining quantity is basically j minus the number of signs in this range, and the number of signs in this range is basically I minus 1 minus pre plus 1. So this is the remaining number of signs, and this value is just given by j minus I plus pre minus 1. So it's j minus I plus pre plus 1, and you can basically see that this is the value of rem if you evaluate this expression, and we basically take this value and put it inside the recurrence over here to get the time taken. So formalizing the final value of the recurrence, the final value of dpij is equal to the min over all pre going from, like for all pre going from 1 till I minus 1, because that's the previous value which you can stop at, and the value is given by dp pre of rem plus the quantity, the time taken to go from rem to I, which is just given by the distance of I minus the distance of rem, that's the distance traveled, and the speed is given by E of rem. So this is the final recurrence, and now like that's all for this problem. Now the base case, let's look at the base case. So this was the recurrence. For the base case, we can basically consider the case when your j value is 0. So in the case when j value is 0, you actually don't need a specific base case, but just to understand the recurrence better, we can consider the special base case. In that case, dpi0 will just be a dpi minus 1 0 because you can't remove any sign, so the previous value is given by I minus 1 plus the distance of I minus distance of I minus 1, because that's the distance, and the speed is given by A of I minus 1. Now we figured out the recurrence and the base case, and now let's try to figure out the final part, which is the final answer itself, and then I'll show you the code. So the final answer is computed very similar to the recurrence, and it will help you understand the recurrence better. You can actually just use the final answer as an n plus 1th index by considering the n plus 1 sign as the final destination, but I'm just using a separate loop which is almost exactly the same as the recurrence loop, but it helps you understand the recurrence better. So for the final answer, we know that the index, the I value, is basically n plus 1 for the final answer. We know that this holds, and we basically know that we need to iterate over all possible j. So j represents the number of we will iterate over all the possible numbers of signs which we delete, and we will also iterate over all the possible values of the last sign which is visited, and that is given by pre. So this is very similar to the recurrence. In the recurrence, I goes from 1 to n, but over here I is fixed to be n plus 1, and in the recurrence j and pre also will vary, and the exact same thing happens in the final answer. Then we will basically compute the recurrence or compute the quantity to be the remaining value is given by the same quantity. So it is the remaining value is j minus I plus pre plus 1, and in that case j minus I, so j minus I plus pre plus 1 will actually be j minus n minus pre. Like you could think of it this way. If you expand it, you'll see that this is j minus n, and you have a plus pre. So you could think of it this way, and that's the remaining number of signs which are left. And if this remaining number of signs is greater than or equal to 0, then we set the answer to be the minimum of the answer and the same quantity from the recurrence. So let's try to understand this quantity. I've taken it exactly from the recurrence, but there are a few changes. So the first thing is that dp pre of rem remains the same. This is the time taken to go from 1 to pre, from the start to pre basically, and then we add the time taken to go from the current value pre to the final destination L, and over here the final destination is given by L. It's not given by A of I, because I is essentially the L index, the last value, and so we take the value, the position of L, and we subtract the position of the current sign to get the distance to be traveled. So this is the distance traveled, and we multiply that by the speed, which is given by A of pre. So this is the speed to get the time taken to go from pre to L, and hence this is going to be the quantity which we take the minimum of across all possibilities, and that's essentially the final answer. So the final answer actually repeats the recurrence, but I hope you understood it very well now. And now I'll show you the code, which is almost exactly the same thing, and you should try to code this out on your own. Focus on the values I going from 1 to n, j going from 1 to k, and pre going from 1 to I minus 1. So think about that as you write the recurrence. And now I'll show you the code. So in the code, I use LL for long, and I use VL for vector L and VVL for vector L, because we use 2D DP, and we have a constant infinity to be 10 power of 18, because that's the default value for the DP values in the beginning. For safety, we take in all values to be long, because in case there's any overflow, we don't want to take a chance. This is the A array, this is the D array, and this is the DP array. Note that the DP is n plus 1 cross k plus 1, because in the worst case, we are taking the value of dpn of k, which represents the minimum time if you are considering the first I signs and can remove at most j signs. And this is actually min time to go from the start to the ith sign. And the final answer is actually given by dp of n plus 1 of j, and that's actually the final answer, but I recompute the final answer in a separate loop just to make it simpler. Initially dp1 of 0 is 0, so this is actually the first base case, and this is because you are essentially at the start, so you don't spend any time. And then for all I going from 2 to n, so when I is 1 we are done over here. For all I going from 2 to n, the above thing is a base case, which is what I explained in the video, I mean in the whiteboard. So you should check out the whiteboard in case you don't understand why we are adding dp I minus 1 0 and we are adding the speed multiplied by the distance. So that's how we get the base case. Now for the recurrence, we iterate over all j going from 1 to k. So j represents the number of signs which we remove, and pre represents the number of the previous sign. So we remove all signs from I minus 1 to pre plus 1, or basically pre plus 1 to I minus 1, because we go from pre to I, and this means that we remove these many number of signs. So this is the reduced expression, and this value should be less than or equal to j. So basically the rem is given by j minus I plus pre plus 1, and this should be greater than or equal to 0. And we can compute this quantity over here. So I'll explicitly write it over here. Rem is given by j minus I plus pre plus 1, and if this quantity rem, if this rem is greater than or equal to 0, then we take the minimum with the value. So what's the value? The value is essentially dp of pre of rem plus a of pre, which is the speed, into the distance, which is d of I minus d of pre. That's the quantity which we take the minimum with in the dp recurrence, and that's then the recurrence. So this is actually the main part of the logic which you should understand. And now for the final answer, which essentially does exactly the same thing, we initially write the answer to be infinity as in the dp state in the dp table, and for all j going from 0 to k, so this is the number of signs which we remove, and we consider all last sign number. For all last sign numbers going from n to 1, we set the remaining to be equal to the quantity which I mentioned over here, j minus n plus pre, j minus n plus pre. So if this quantity rem is greater than or equal to 0, then we set the answer to be the minimum of the answer, and dp of pre of rem plus the speed into the distance, and that's the quantity which we take the min with, and in the end we just print the answer. So that's all that's there in the recurrence and in the final answer for this problem. So as you can see, my code got accepted. I hope you like this problem and my solution. As you could see, this problem taught us how we could effectively use two-dimensional dynamic programming, in which we come up with states from the problem itself, but the recurrence is a bit complicated and requires some time to understand fully. So if you had any doubts, do leave them in the comments down below, and if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Thank you.